Hello, today this is the podcast with me, myself and I. Today I am Wednesday Adams, we have Morticia Adams here. Let's get started.
So, Maahi challenged me today.
Who is Maahi?
Oh, sorry, Wednesday said that I have to come in my real form, which is obviously as Morticia. Well, Asian Morticia, if you want to call me that. So, we thought to spark it up a bit for everybody that perhaps we should do a bit of dressing up. And Maahi, who is often called Wednesday because she looks like Wednesday and behaves a bit like her actually as well. So, Wednesday.
Yes, Mother.
What are we talking about?
We'll be talking about our changing bodies. As I am going through puberty. And Mother, you are going through?
Menopause. Do you want to go first?
I don't know. Hello everyone.
Hi, we're back to normal now. Just in case you were missing our smiles.
Okay. And so I will be going first. I am going through puberty, which is like kind of tough.
Okay.
So as I'm going through puberty, I have a lot of changes going through my body, such as more hair everywhere.
Okay. What else?
And I have recently, a couple of months ago, got my first period, which, Mummy had already told me what it was about, but I didn't really fully understand it. So that night that I got it, Mum sat down with me and we watched a couple of YouTube videos together discussing why it happened, and then I realised why it happens.
Do you think they were interesting? The YouTube videos. We stopped watching them after.
We stopped watching them.
We got a bit bored, didn't we?
Yes, but I did understand why we have periods.
Yeah, so Maahi, you're 10, aren't you? So you're still in primary school, year 5?
Yeah.
And you started your period. For some people, that's quite early, isn't it? I mean, is there any other people in your class that have started their periods?
Not that I know of, I don't think so.
Yeah. And how's it been for you? How do you feel?
It's actually very tough because, I feel like I'm the only person in my school that has it. So I've never seen anybody bring their pouch into the toilet or anything.
And what does it feel like for you physically when you have your period? Or what has it felt like for you?
Well, when it comes at different times, because any time something happens, I'm always rushing to the toilet because I don't know whether I got my period or not. And whether I've leaked.
What, so you feel like you don't know when it's going to come, or?
Yeah, when I don't know when it's going to come.
And, how else have you felt about your period?
It's a very tiring process.
It's a very tiring process, is it? Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world, darling. Welcome to my world. It's quite interesting, Maahi, because I also started my period, Wednesday, because I started my period when I was quite young as well. So I was in year 5 as well when I started my period, and I can still remember, I started my period and I came home and I didn't even know what period was, and nobody spoke to me, and nobody has ever spoken to me, in all fairness, and my mum just handed me these pads and that was it, and I had to sort of figure it out myself. But I guess in those days you didn't have YouTube videos or YouTube clips, or I didn't even know that it was going to come. Did you feel that you knew that it was going to come?
I was educated on that topic about when it was going to come.
And who educated you?
This mother sitting next to me.
Okay. Do you think that was helpful?
Very.
And, obviously this whole topic today is about your changing bodies, and obviously having the period means that you know, there's so many changes to our body, like in that sort of puberty period.
Yes.
What other changes have you noticed in your body?
I've noticed that I've started to sweat more.
Mm-hmm.
So that requires me wearing deodorant every morning, which I do sometimes forget, but I always wear perfume. So, and some people in my class do as well. Forget to wear deodorant.
Anything else?
So our teacher brought us deodorant.
Oh yeah, your teachers put your deodorant, haven't they? Because they've noticed that the
Like,
children are smelling.
yes, person in year 5, they said that people in year 5 and 6 are starting to smell. So he bought 1 can of boys deodorant and 1 can of girls deodorant.
Mm. Is there any? So like I remember as well, like when I was sort of going through puberty myself, and you know everything about your changes. So you know, like you've already mentioned, you know, you suddenly get all this hair, like everywhere, you know, without mentioning intimate details, but everywhere across your body, don't you?
Yes.
And you know, you already thought you had it hard because you had a moustache and a monobrow. Well, wait till you're Asian and you go through puberty. It's everywhere and anywhere, and it's thick, and it's, you know, so you kind of notice it so much more.
You can braid it like my hair.
You can braid it. What?
I find myself amusing.
You are amusing sometimes. Yes, sometimes you feel like, yes, I could braid that part of hair. Anyways, in terms of that change, it's also like, you know, it's different parts of your body growing more as well, you know, and obviously, I don't know if you've noticed other parts of your body that have grown as well.
Yes, I have noticed.
So I noticed when, you know, like my boobs came, you know, and suddenly I had these like boobs, and I had to like then wear a bra and all these other things. And I think it is important to talk about these things openly, don't you think so? Because I think, you know, we all us women go through this. You know, if we can't talk about this openly and honestly, and you know, maybe some might say you're 10 and why am I talking about it when you're 10? But actually, visually, you have grown, and if I don't talk to you about it, or we don't talk to each other about it, how are we going to know?
And as I am going through this, why can't my mother talk to me about it in front of me?
And do you find that helps talking about it?
Yes, because I know other people are going through it and I'm not just the only one.
What else have you noticed, like, the change for you, do you think?
Oh, mood swings.
I am laughing, yes, because it's me that has to deal with them. The mood swings, yes?
I can go from happy to sad in 2 seconds.
I would say 1. Anyways, yes, the mood swings and the temperament and the, you know, constant changing of feelings. And it feels, I don't know about you, but to me it always felt like really out of control. Like I wanted to be okay, but I just couldn't. Do you feel like that?
Sometimes I feel sad without knowing why I feel sad. But I choose to be emotionless, so I don't feel sad.
You choose to be emotionless.
I choose.
There you go. See, if you become emotionless, you won't feel anything, will you? You know? So I think I remember like when I was going through puberty, and it's like you've got this emotional roller coaster going on. And, you know, given that I've now sort of since then had children and, you know, different hormonal changes throughout the years while I've had children, and then obviously where I am now, that roller coaster doesn't stop. It comes again in different forms, and we see it again in different phases of our lives, you know, that your hormones change, you change as a person, your feelings change all the time. And often, I think the hardest thing for me has always been, I don't have control over them. I have control of when it's going to happen. You know, for me, I think I went through puberty, but I didn't understand that's what it was. Whereas I'm hoping that for you, I can create a space where you do.
I do, very much. And we talked about it at school as well.
Uh-huh.
Puberty.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about in terms of your changing?
Oh, yes. I do get spots, not too often, but there are a few that just peekaboo out of nowhere.
Is that what it feels like when you see them in the mirror? They're like, oh, hello, peekaboo.
Yes.
I love that you've taken on the whole Wednesday persona, my daughter. Anyway, back to the filming. Yeah, and I still get spots. They never go away. So the best thing to do is don't pick them. Whatever you do, don't pick them. They will go away. Just leave them alone. Do not pick them. That will make them worse. So please, please, please do not pick them. Maahi, what don't you do to your spots?
Eat them.
You don't eat them. Okay, so is there anything else you want to talk about puberty?
No.
No?
No.
Is there anything you want to ask me?
What are you going through?
Is that your nice way of asking me?
Wednesday is not nice.
Wednesday? Okay, she's not nice. Okay. So, as we've talked about, obviously I've had different hormonal changes throughout my life, and I don't want to bore you with the detail of all of those that have happened, like as I was, as I was pregnant or when I gave birth and all those sort of things. So I'm going to stick to where I'm currently at. So I'm obviously now going through the kind of opposite of, the opposite of the menopause, if you know what I mean.
Menopause?
The opposite of, opposite of starting your periods and puberty, whereby I think my periods are, I'm probably pre-menopausal, where my periods are probably going to stop in the next few years. So I'm probably at the opposite place
You
of
are
where.
very, very, very lucky.
I don't know if I would call myself lucky, but
You get to stop having this.
yes, after how many years?
I don't know.
Probably about 30 years.
33.
33 years, yeah. So, yes, which is a long time. So I think for me, like, there's so many things that I've noticed in terms of myself and like my hormone changes, and you might have noticed them as well as, someone that lives with me, in that, I can get quite agitated and irritated. And usually sometimes over things that you would think, why have I even got irritated? And a bit like what you was describing around, like, I have no control over my emotions. Like, sometimes I'm sad and I don't know why I'm sad, but I know everything's okay and I don't need to feel sad, but I still feel sad. And I wish I had a little bit more control over that. And I think, there's so many things that I've sort of noticed as I'm sort of heading towards this sort of perimenopausal stage, in terms of like, suddenly I have these like allergic reactions to certain things, like gel nails. Oh my God, it's devastating that I have an allergy to gel nails.
She never uses acrylics, only gels.
Yeah, it's just gels. I don't know what I've done. Anyway, and like last year, like where my body just decided it was going to react, and I had this like horrible rash all over my body, just all of a sudden. And it's all that sort of thing, and I also, then, within that, it's like, my blood tests and my iron level and my folic acid levels and all these things that, are part of me, they were all low. And I haven't done anything differently. I haven't done anything differently, but suddenly, all of a sudden, like, my folic acids reach kind of 2. And I'm thinking to myself, I was quite ill, wasn't I? Like, I had like severe headaches, and it was like kind of being on a permanent hangover. Do you know what I mean? It was like permanently being hungover, and that's something that folic deficiency can do for you, in that, because it takes the oxygen around your body, in your blood, that's why it feels like a hangover. And if I hadn't fought for the blood tests, I probably would have been in the same place, wouldn't I? And it was bad. I was so tired. Like, literally, I used to find it hard to just like daily function. So I think all those sort of things, like those hormonal changes, I've noticed a difference in the kind of length of my period. They're not as regular as, they come on different dates now, so they don't come on the regular date that they would normally come, and they're not as long as they were. And I always feel so, it's like, I would probably say like a pre-menstrual thing that I feel like menstrual, not menstruals. Pre-menstrual thing I feel like a headache, like before my period, and it's a funny tension headache. Like I need to, like a release needs to happen, and I feel so irritated with like the world around me. You know, whereas I've gone through the majority of my life never having any like major period pains and just getting on with my life when I've got my period. Whereas now, it's just everything. Like I can't seem to lose weight. I get upset at the littlest thing. I think sometimes I feel like it affects like my every bit. Like when I was ill last year, I did feel like it was affecting my like everyday like my being, like just to be able to function day to day and provide for my family. And I think part of the issue with like even when you start your periods and being, you know, your menstrual cycles, or if you're perimenopausal or menopausal, is that like workplaces don't give you time to sort of accept what's going on with your body and get on. You know, so you still have to carry on like normally. There's no like, you know,
sympathy.
No, there's no sympathy.
And like men say all this stuff, but they don't know how it feels.
So you think that men don't actually know how it feels? They just say these things.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right. Like until you go through it and experience what it does to you, you don't actually know, do you? You know, it's like it's like the silly things. Like, you know, when you're like obviously my body's changing in a different way to yours. Like I feel like my body's like going south. I shouldn't say that out loud. But I do feel like that sometimes. Like I want a definition in my legs or my arms or whatever, but I don't feel like I can ever have that again.
What is the definition?
Like where you can see my muscles, like the outline of my muscles.
Okay.
Yeah. I also have noticed that like I'm losing hair. Bless you. I've also noticed that
I'm glad I didn't sneeze up blood.
I also noticed that I'm losing hair as well, and then like my hair is so grey. She said, I know how you talk about there's hair everywhere. All that hair now turns grey, and that's quite enlightening. She's like, oh my god, I've got grey hair.
You're an old grand.
Yeah, you know. So I think that's something you have to think about and embrace as well. Like, obviously that's changing for me as well, where my hair's going grey, and how I feel about that as well.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you feel like around your changing body that you think is important to you? No? I think if I was to ask myself that question, I think for me it's that kind of, I wish I could do as much as I used to. Like now I feel like I don't have the energy, like literally do not have the energy to do as much as I kind of used to be able to do. And I'm at a place in my life where I do want to do more, because I have a little, like, because you lot are all grown up now, I have more time, but I just don't have the energy anymore.
Now that we are grown up, you have no energy. Before, when you had energy, it would be taken all on us.
Yes.
So you never have energy.
That's why you should enjoy like where you are now.
Well, that's why you should enjoy energy drinks.
Energy drinks.
I say it will give you energy.
Yeah, but they're not very good for you. They're quite high in sugar. Yeah. So we've talked about our changing bodies. What about our changing minds? Because our mind's quite important as well, isn't it? Don't you think? So is there anything in your like thinking or emotionally that you think has changed for you? Because that's sort of key to our well-being, isn't it?
Something emotionally changing for you. I don't know.
Like in your mind, just like you're thinking about things in a different way, or that have changed for you. No? I suppose when I think back to that time, sort of in puberty time, I think I started to think a little bit more about my identity, maybe, and who I am.
But
and who I want to be.
I haven't thought about that. Well, I already know who I want to be when I grow up.
Who do you want to be when you grow up?
You.
Oh, God. Oh, thank you.
But
But you are me, because you're me, myself, and I.
I do want to have a different.
Yes, you need to have a different job. You need to do whatever makes you happy.
Actor.
Yes.
As you can tell, I'm very good at it.
Yeah, she's very good. Yeah, I think I did sort of start thinking about feeling sad and feeling happy and all those sort of things, like more so than I perhaps did when I was before that. I don't know. I suppose where I am now, what I've noticed in terms of my well-being and emotions and stuff like that, like, it's really weird because, you know, I feel like I've gone through my whole life, like, caring what other people think about me, but here I am now and I don't really care what anyone thinks about me anymore. And it feels quite liberating, actually.
What does that word mean?
So, like, freeing. I feel quite free of, like, so normally, like, let's take this for example. I would have done this podcast and then I'd be like, oh my God, I wonder what someone's going to say. I wonder how I'm going to look. Like, obviously, we've had that conversation around how do I actually think I look. But, like, I would be worried about what other people think or what they might say about me and all this sort of stuff. And now I just don't care.
I think that is what I'm going through. I care, I don't know why, but I'm caring about why people judge me.
You care about
If
what
they judge me.
if they judge you. And do their judgments matter?
No.
In honesty?
Will I ever see them again? No.
No.
So
Oh, so the people that might like our videos or comment on our videos, you're talking about them or generally?
Just generally, like,
Yeah.
if I'm wearing something, what will people say about me?
It's interesting, isn't it? Like, you're sort of heading into that phase, and here I am, sort of 33 years, and I'm exiting that phase, and I feel quite free and, like I said, liberated.
So this is why, note to self and me, no, note to self
Everyone.
and you, don't care what people think, because at the end of the day, punching.
We can't condone violence.
Who said I can't?
I said. So, yeah, it's quite interesting, isn't it? That's a really kind of good way to sort of look at it, isn't it? Because you do sort of, in that sort of puberty phase, you start like noticing the other people around you and you worry about what they might think about you or say about you, but it doesn't actually really matter, does it? If you're you, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm me.
You are you. So, is there anything else you think that we should bring to this topic, or do you think no?
No.
So I don't know if people could have heard, but we had a little bit of giggling and a little bit of in the background. We have decided to invite Maahi.
Pugsley, which I don't know why, but his mother told me to, so we can bring out him.
Come on, you. Come and stand here.
Hiya, mate.
Hi. So let us hold your glass for you.
Pass the axe. No.
Come forward. So this is. Who are you?
Who do you think I am? I'm famous.
Are you famous? Are you?
Yes, I am.
Maahi, who's this?
My annoying little brother, Pugsley Adams.
So we thought that, you know, we should invite Pugsley. Well, we decided together that we'd like you to join us for this, especially as we were dressing up, that we would like you to inform us, we would like to invite you to our podcast today. So, do you mind if we ask you a question?
Go ahead.
So, our question really, Wednesday.
Yes, Mother.
Stop looking at him like that. Okay, so our question to you is...
Why are you here?
No, Mike. Our question to you is, what... Okay, come on.
Why are you here?
Our question to you is, so you're now 8 years old, aren't you? And you're going to be 9 next year. Have you noticed... This year? Yes, this year.
Yes.
How have you noticed any changes about you?
I get pimples.
You get pimples at 9?
Pimples.
Pimples?
He's 8, Mother.
Oh, he's 8, yeah, he's 8, sorry. You've got pimples. Anything else you've noticed?
Anger.
Yeah, you've got anger issues, yes.
Scream so
Very
much.
loud, yeah.
Honey, just shush.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else?
I like blood.
You like blood? Okay. Have you noticed any other changes for you in your body or your mind?
No.
No? Okay. Well, our special guest today, because we obviously, love little Pudsley, because he's
Pudsley?
Pudsley. What is his name? Pudsley. Okay.
Pudsley the bear.
What's his name then?
Pudsley.
Okay, let's okay. Shh. Right. So we thought, as we're dressing up, Pudsley will join us. And it's been lovely having you, Pudsley, and listening to what you had to say on this topic as well. We look forward to seeing you all in our next podcast and our next episode. Thank you for listening to us today and joining us for our podcast. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Pudsley, is there anything you would like to say before we go?
See you in the afterlife.
Wednesday?
Drink blood. It is amazing.
The madder you are, the madder your children are. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.